Hey, DB here. DB here. How are you? Sorry, I promise stop jumping around. I have to stop looking at myself instead of looking up here where you are. Welcome to an experiment. This is the first episode, possibly the last episode, of There You Go with DB. I want to talk about, the only way to really begin this is talk about music. I hope you can hear that back there. I've turned it up some. I can turn it up again, I guess. I don't know. Let me tell you a quick story. Hopefully do it in 5 minutes. Not too much longer. When I was a kid, probably about anywhere between 12 and 14, 15, something like that, I spent a lot of time, lived with my my aunt, uncle, Aunt Irma and Uncle Jim, very dear, extremely dear people to me. I had my own room there. One day I was in the room. I was listening to WKBW radio, Buffalo, New York, possibly Danny Neverth on it. I don't remember what the numbers were. I don't. He knocked on the door and he said, "Hey, Donnie, when you have time, come out." Donnie, he called me Donnie all my life, even when I was married and had kids. So I came out and he gestured over and he said, "Hey, I want you to sit in my chair over there. I want to just hang out, do something." I said, "Sure." When you sit in somebody else's chair, something's up. So we went over to this console that he had, a big stereo console back in the day. And with much flourish and relish and everything else, he got out an album and he held it to the light, brushed it off, blew on it. Probably not a great thing. Put it down on the platter, picked up the needle at the time, put it into it. It was one of those thick albums, 180 grams, I guess it was, kind of heavier than the other ones. He went over and sat in Aunt Irma's chair. And in between the two of us was Duke, his boxer, who was also a great friend. And suddenly the music started. And I was transfixed. I never heard anything like it. And I just sat there and I would look over at Uncle Jim and I see his toe would be tapping, his foot would be tapping, and his eyes were closed and he's just smiling. Obviously, his special place. He was a businessman. He owned his own business. He sold checks to banks when banks bought checks. And we listened all the way through, and I never moved at all. Just sat there. When it was over, he said to me, "Donnie, what's your favorite group of all these groups?" And I said, "Jerry and the Pacemakers." I don't know why. My guess is he probably didn't even know who they were. And what he said to me, I'll never forget. It sticks with me all the time. Sticks with me every story I write. I should write that it was to Uncle Jim. Every story I write, he says, "Your music of," he'd already forgot by that time, goes in here. The lyrics goes in here. That music you just heard, that's jazz music. That goes in here. That goes in your soul. It still gets me to this day. That talk. And he's right. Every story I write, if you ever have a chance to read it out loud, it's got that cadence. In fact, if you can hear that, what's playing back there is the Modern Jazz Quartet. It is the same album that Uncle Jim played, the same song Uncle Jim played. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how bad this looks. If it sucks, let me know. I'm just going to blast it out there and let the world decide. If you, it's going to go on YouTube. I think down below on YouTube they have comments where you can put a comment in there about, if you want to ask me a question, you want to talk about something, I will. I'm going to try to keep this to 5 minutes. The music that's playing right now, that cut is 5 minutes and 14 seconds. So I'm getting close to the end of that. I'm watching it. I look over there. There's a little timer. So let me know what you think. It's not going to be very technical. It's not going to be very Hollywoodite. I mean, right over there, that's the bathroom. That's the recorder. Over there, this bed. This is the spare room in our house. That's how it's going to be. 2 lights, sunshine when we got it. So thank you for joining me. I will try to look more up here. That will come. So I have to look over here now to turn this damn thing on. So okay, I can do it. There you go.